Hello everyone, so my name is Luke Clement. I'm a Technocamps delivery officer. I've been working for Technocamps now for the past 3 years, and today I'm going to be talking a bit about Scratch. Everyone in Technocamps knows I'm a bit Scratch mad, but hopefully I want to show you how it can be used as a cross-curricular teaching tool. So just a quick bit about myself. So as I said, my name is Luke. I'm a delivery officer for Technocamps and have been for the last 3 years. Before that, I was working as a science teacher. I'm a trained physics teacher. And I've tried to apply what I know from my science background into programming to try and kind of make a link between the two because we don't want them to be too separate. So whilst being part of Technocamps, I've also been the Technoteach CPD tutor. So I've been running an 18-day course for the last 3 years, and we've had probably about 80 teachers pass that in the time that I've been doing it. And as part of that course, I've always taught for the secondary teachers programming concepts using Python, but for the primary teachers, I've been using Scratch instead for the last couple of years, and I think it's worked just as well to explain the concepts behind the programming. So what I wanted to talk about in this video is it relevant for secondary? And being the advocate for Scratch that I am, I think yes, it is. The reasoning behind that being because it allows you to teach programming without any syntax issues. You know, the reason we don't teach things like Python in primary or lower secondary, really, year 7, is usually because the syntax, you get so many errors, and the amount of time it would take to debug all these things in a 50-minute lesson, you wouldn't get very far. If you use Scratch, it takes away all the headaches you can get with that. And most pupils coming up from primary are already familiar with it. So you can focus a lot more on the actual concepts rather than fixing errors and trying to get through the kind of the less glamorous side of programming. And one of the main reasons that I like it is because it's much quicker and easier to create interactive and engaging work. Imagine how long it takes to make something visual in Python compared to how long it can take to make a quick little visual simulation or game in Scratch. You can fit these into nice kind of compartmentalized lessons, which, as you'll all know, in Key Stage 3 are quite important because you won't get that much time for your subject. And also, because of that, you get greater creativity. If there's more time for pupils to work on the problems or the tasks you're setting, you can allow them to be more creative in how they do it. Whereas if you're doing it in Python, to get them all to complete what you expect the learners to, the bare minimum to complete, you might take too much time and you won't actually get very far in a lesson. And as I'm going to show you, hopefully, it can work well for teaching and programming in programming lessons, but also you can use it as a teaching tool, which might be less relevant because it depends on how much time you have. And of course, I know as teachers, you won't get much time to do the things I've done, but hopefully the things that I have done will be useful for you and you can use them anyway in your own lessons. So some cross-curricular examples that I've thrown together this week. So in science, because of my science background, I tend to focus a lot on making nice Scratch programs or workshops for kids to develop not only their programming skills and understanding of programming, but applying it to other subject areas. So states of matter, a simulation for that, is something that is really easy to do, and it's an abstract concept that usually, we can't see atoms and how they behave. We only kind of see the results of how they behave and how they move. But actually making a simulation is something that pupils will remember a lot more vividly than if they're just drawing maybe circles in a box and then describing them with the words. I've also thrown together another game to do with translation. So Scratch has a lot of extensions that you can easily just add in. And one of them is a translation service from Google. And you can make a nice little, maybe a revision game for translation, or just something to test their, what's that in English? Vocabulary. Test the vocabulary in other languages. It could be Welsh, it could be French, whatever modern languages they're learning in the school. And I've also created a little one that simulates a water cycle. I was asked if I could put together a workshop on this by a local school recently. Don't think anything ever came of that, but I did make it, and I thought this is a really nice example of how you can take a process, break it down into stages. So use decomposition, break down into stages, abstract away all the unnecessary details. Okay, so you using that computational thinking and applying it into a nice area that fits in another topic. For all of these videos, you can find the tutorials that I made for them at this link, bit.ly/TC Teach Scratch. I'll keep adding them. At the moment, I haven't done the Welsh versions, but they'll be coming up surely before this video goes out. And I had some more ideas, possibly. You can apply this to so many different areas. I've obviously got more experience with science and maybe the geography side of things, not as much with the artistic and literature subjects. But one of the teachers on my course, I think it was last year, they put together a scheme of work where the kids would actually be learning about the anatomy of the human body. And then they were creating kind of an interactive file of facts, I guess I would call it, where you could click. As you can see, you can click on the heart symbol, you can click on the stomach, and it would then bring up more information on each body part. So instead of just, as I said earlier, writing down, or maybe drawing a diagram in their books and then writing down information linking to it, you could make an interactive, a more kind of engaging program. So it's another way of assessing understanding. It might not be for everyone, but some pupils might really like this. And obviously, the more we teach the programming concepts of it, the better. I do think it's powerful. I think maybe a lot of people don't realize how powerful it can be. I've made entire games in it in my spare time just to try and teach the stories of the Mabinogion, and for my own fun, just teaching myself programming. And especially at maybe year 7, possibly year 8, it is an ideal tool. If you want to teach programming concepts in a very limited time, you can do so with Scratch and not have to worry about all the syntax errors and so on. But the main thing here, when we talk about the new curriculum, is that you can apply these easily. So programming lessons, you're teaching programming concepts, but apply them easily to topics that are currently being taught in other subjects. And that really brings together like the ethos of this curriculum, that you have communication between your departments and that you can link the things that you're teaching in your lessons to what they are teaching in theirs. Okay, so I hope that's been useful. And I hope that some of you have been kind of motivated to take on Scratch a bit more. Okay, so thank you for watching.